I guess what bothers me the most about coronavirus, in retrospect, with the failures of the federal government, is what will happen with the next one. And I'm not just talking about the next wave of coronavirus. What if this had been worse? I think that coronavirus is a debt that came due. It's like all the other things we do in our lives that we don't think about. They could just totally throw us for a loop. America will one day recover. And I think that for much of us, life will go back to normal. And people will go back to bars. And people will forget. And people will forget about the nurses and the doctors that risk their lives. And people will forget about the government not providing proper PPE. And people will forget about all the doctors and nurses that are sick. That some of them will probably never be able to come back to work. They won't be the same again. People will forget about that. This will all be forgotten. Everything that I'm doing, the masks, all this will be forgotten. I'll go back, as long as, just like many of you, we'll go back to being the weird guy that's got a respirator and has got a couple weeks of food stored up. We'll go back to being the weird people. And like I said, my fear is just, one thing in my research I found how many exercises the government has had over the last 20 years on coronaviruses, on pandemics that could get out of control. Exercise Cyrus or something, that was in Great Britain. Crimson Red was a DHS, I mean, that was a couple of years, that was recent. And then you had Operation Dark Winter, which was done by the military back in 2001. We've had multiple drills showing us the U.S. government, the West, U.S. government in particular, was not prepared for a pandemic of any extended period. I think they can put this stuff out to idiots and to sheeple to believe that these crises are just of very low chance of happening. I feel like people out here are barely making it as it is. Like they're barely making it by anyway. So it's kind of like, why would it wouldn't have boots and goggles and stuff just sitting around. And I feel like in a way the government's the same way. They've been at war for so long and they've been, trying to shut things down, hold people up for so long that this is why I talk about the public health care system has been devalued, because you've been invested in war and conquest and all this bullshit. There's no way you'd be prepared for any kind of major crisis like this. As well as the fact that for many of us, our health care is attached to our jobs. So, I just, I don't know what to tell you. I worry about the next one. Like I said, Exercise, Cygrus, Crimson Red, Dark Winter, there's more out there. Some of them are still classified. But all of them say the same thing, that they knew they wouldn't have enough ventilators. I mean, it blows my mind to find an exercise done over a decade ago saying they would run out of ventilators. And here we are in 2020, and this fucking dumbass president talks about how there was no warning. And I just realized, I'm like, he's not talking to me. He's talking to idiots. Like, he's talking to dumbasses that want to believe him. And at this point, I'm not even sure he's talking to anybody. He's talking to himself. This country is sick. And once again, I wonder what will happen with the next one. What will happen with the next crisis? What will happen with the next event? What will happen? We're not prepared for this one. I have no reason to be prepared for the next one, because people will forget. I joke about it and stuff, but I really believe it. If Trump had opened the government tomorrow, people would go out here and hit in the bars and stuff. I don't care about the city of Charlotte. If Trump came out and said it's no big deal, go back to where you're going, people would do it. I think you have a lot of people out here who are less prepared and less aware of what's going on than you think. I think you have a lot of people out here who honestly are more angry about the fact that they're more angry about the fact that you have NBA games canceled than about the pandemic and the subsequent failure of government operations to act appropriately in the face of a crisis. I'm serious. That's really that's why I think people aren't mad. Like, I think one thing about the war in Iraq, I think that people stopped paying attention to the media. A lot of people did. After that, I think a lot of people just don't care. They don't care unless it affects them directly. I think that's sad. That shows me more than anything that America's a declining nation. You know, it's like saying in the South like that. Everybody doesn't follow the media. Everybody's just watching sports or stupid shit, and the crackers just watch Fox News, and you're stuck in between. I'm a ghost living with the Flintstones. Talking about this stuff, no one talks about this stuff. Other than, like I said, they're more angry about basketball being canceled. Well, guess they're not even mad about the fact that here you have doctors and nurses that can't get tests, but basketball superstars can. I mean, it's just a reminder that we're closer to the Hunger Games than people think. And I mean like the ruling class, the very rich. I'm talking about that kind of stuff. We're already there. When I was an InfoWars watcher, Alex Jones would talk about how, the liberals want to create a death court and all this kind of stuff. And it's crazy because isn't Trump doing the same thing? Telling people to go to work, isn't the same thing? Conservatives don't value human life. That was nonsense that we were given. They don't value human life. They never did. Peace out. I'm gonna go off. Went off subject at the end there.